Back with more Angel. This is episode 16 of season 4. Very excited to see what's going to be happening next with this season. Also dreading it, given how the last episode ended off. They gave me all the goodness of my cinnamon rolls coming together. Willow and Fred, best thing that's ever happened in my life. Best thing that will ever happen in my life. We had some Faith stuff, we had some Angela stuff, that's all been dealt with now. And then along comes Cordelia, and yeah, everyone knows she's pregnant now. So I am intrigued to see the consequences of that, how that's going to be received by people. Probably not well, I would assume, and I would hope. But it's a journey, that particular storyline this season. So God knows what's going to happen. Yeah. At least it's not a who's the daddy plotline. That's like the only thing they haven't done with the pregnancy, so that's something. Although who the daddy is awful, so let's get into it, shall we? He's like, can you take my soul again?
The last time Cordelia was impregnated, she came to term overnight.
That was a crawly evil demon thing. This is different.
Still a reused plotline, but different.
You're gonna have a grand spawn.
I'm gonna have a child, and all you can do is joke because you don't like me.
I mean, one person joked. But okay. All Connor ever does is joke because he doesn't like Angel.
None of you have ever had. You'll see.
Oh! It's,
How'd you do that?
Zzz, lady.
I'm a thief.
Maybe when this is all over, you and I could...
Whoa! I was going to say there might have been a spark between them, but I didn't mean it literally.
Angelus didn't kill Lila. She was already dead.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Still pissed off about Lila.
Gwen, I'd love to help.
I meant him.
Oh. He'd be used then, at least. Didn't want to just stand around.
Willow, she didn't open a gate to evil. She put back Angel's soul. Almost killed her.
But you didn't. Angel's back, everything
Come
worked
on,
out.
suss her out.
Everything happens for a reason.
Shit reasons. Can this not happen for any reason?
Before, there's always a reason.
Remember.
The reason is that she's evil!
Yeah, I get one each trip. Just brought the dolphin back from Tahiti. Collect anything we
It's a magical place.
You think this is impossible?
No, I think it's fantastic. Listen, I spent most of this year trapped in what I can only describe as a turgid supernatural soap opera. I have a chance to go out and really help.
It's a good escape.
You know, it feels good to be doing good. Well, if we can just get out as easily as we got in.
Nope. No.
You can say that.
Bzzz.
Electronic imprint on your invitation's been altered.
I can explain that. I was struck by lightning. Really? If that means we do.
When are you going to talk to each other all secretly and whispery when there's cards right there? Oh.
Konbanwa, do me the honor of accepting this humble gift. To thank you for inviting us into your beautiful home. You're too generous. Please, it's just a trinket.
Take it. He's kind of thriving in this sort of environment.
It's beautiful.
All right, go ahead.
Nice.
How did he and Cordy get all coupley?
They were probably as surprised as anyone.
Some manipulative bullshit, that's how.
No matter how lonely I was, I would never.
Things happen, Fred.
Thinking about Lila.
For the people who care about you.
Didn't you?
I think hate's too strong of a word.
Come on in, Cordelia.
You know, that never stops creeping me out.
Yeah? Kinda creeped out myself.
Can we not do this right now?
It's okay by me. This thing was in my head. I've heard him, and he's insane enough to pull those kind of stunts.
When you say insane, you mean like diabolical?
No, I mean like deluded and demented. And he spoke to me in this cheesy, self-important voice.
Uh-oh.
Man, he's just making it up as he goes along.
It does seem to be that way.
I can't help but feel something wonderful's coming. Don't you, Mr. Gunn?
Well, something seems to be coming all right, just ain't so sure I'd call it wonderful.
Oh my god. Somebody's trying to hurt that little girl.
This is Bravo 9. We have a situation in progress.
Smoothly done.
Hang in there, we're almost out.
Oh! Or maybe we're not. Damn, Gunn! I like that he's kind of like rediscovering his passion for like just doing good. Whoa!
I'm here to take you home.
I am home.
No, you've been kidnapped.
Get out of my house.
Oh.
Your name's not Lisa, is it?
I'm Aika Morimoto, and when my daddy finds out you try to hurt me, he's gonna kill you.
Oh. She didn't set him up, did she? So she could get something. Oh no.
Security scan of a dead guy might have raised a few eyebrows.
You know, for about 5 seconds, I actually care about something. So Lisa doesn't exist.
Yes, she does. And I'd have liberated her from the steel tomb by now if you'd stop yapping for half a sec. It's a military acronym. Localized ionic sensory.
I was gonna say, I hope there's not a little girl in there.
We started this together. Let's finish it the same way.
It's not the same.
You can keep the suit.
I think that's it.
What's it?
Passage from Lava's beastly.
Nothing you need to know. Go away.
Right after the big booming voice threatened to raid the system.
Let's see, the green cart-like vehicle
You...
eats. I'm not a buckethead.
Oh.
Damn it.
Hello there.
Just me and my shadow, secluded in a dark, dusty nowhere land. Ugh. But the upside is I should be all systems go come sunrise.
Then you'll be able to read me?
No worries, Dumpling.
No.
Come morning, I will be a lean, mean, belly-reading machine.
Leave Lorne alone. I swear. I swear.
But that's those two girls. I already kicked their ass once.
Oh.
I need it.
I said finish it!
It's mine!
Oh dear. Well. Unlimited power!
It's for you.
Hmm.
You think it'll fix you?
There's nothing that needs fixing. How cool is that? Zzz. No.
They have done a number on you. You really believe this I'm the muscle crap?
This your version of a pep talk?
Could be. Need one?
Yeah.
Good. Not my area of expertise. So why do you stay? If that's all they see in you.
I'm a fighter.
That is true. They do just make him be the muscle a lot. I wonder if that was planning for
Love
this.
being
That thing might let me be. Well, not normal, but hold hands, maybe. So yeah.
You want to show me how this thing works?
Does it work like that? Oh, it really does work like that. I feel like I know where this is headed.
What's it doing?
Ooh.
You ever seen one of those body snatcher movies?
Hey.
If you couldn't touch, guess that means you've never.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Anytime.
I bet anytime.
It's a prototype. It might not hold.
Well, you've already killed me once. If it happens again, you know where my battery is.
I'm kind of here for it. I think those two kind of suit. Now, listen here, miss. Ah!
Angel.
Is it all a ruse? Oh, gotcha, bitch.
Has Cordy been a bad girl?
Mm. Oh, nice. That was good. I like that. Okay, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very good. Normally, I feel like this would fall into the category of this seems like an odd point in the season when the main plot is like really getting going to have an episode kind of dedicated to seemingly like a one episode kind of storyline. Pacing wise, I'd kind of normally be like, oh, it's a bit odd point in the season to have an episode like this, but I actually think it works in this one. I think it was kind of needed, and it was kind of like Gunn said, he's like, I've been living in a soap opera, it's good to kind of get away from that and just do some good, and that's why he was enjoying himself. I feel like that's why the audience might have enjoyed themselves with this episode as well, maybe even the writers themselves. So this episode was very meta in that sense, and like talking about that. But even more than that, it was kind of speaking to Gunn's role in the show. And the fact that, Gwen was saying to him, you're really believing that you're just a muscle, that's all you are. And the reason that he has been relegated to that is because the writers themselves have had them call Gunn the muscle and just reduced him to that. And now they're kind of addressing it within the context of the show, but it was also a problem with them as writers anyway, because they were doing that to Gunn. So I thought that was an interesting idea. And I've kind of been really wanting a Gunn-centric episode for a little while and a Lorne-centric episode. Still waiting on the Lorne one, but I really enjoyed having an episode where a lot of the screen time was dedicated to Gunn, and it was almost refreshing to see him away from the rest of the group, which is why I really liked that they brought Gwen back in it again. I really enjoy her character a lot, so that was cool to see her. And quite frankly, it was good to kind of get a break from the Cordelia nonsense. Connor was in like the first 10 minutes, then he just disappeared sulking in his room, so he wasn't in it again, which is also kind of a blessing. I think that's why it also didn't feel like, there's so much of this stuff dragging this episode down. I felt there was more screen time about the Gunn plot, which I much preferred. And that's kind of, I think, how they should address this arc until things really happen. Although the ending was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. But it was just a nice kind of break from, as Gunn said, the soap opera. So I really enjoyed that, and lots of good moments with him. And it was good to see him really shine. I thought, he really came into his own, and he was fantastic, trying to take the brains over brawn approach with his kind of little heist with Gwen. I kind of like heisty episodes, and there's lots of twists to that as well in this one. The fact that Gwen was actually just kind of bringing him along so she could steal something, then another twist that was actually she was stealing something for herself, which I quite liked. So everything with that I thought was actually really cool and really well done. And even when it did come down to Gunn having to fight, the sequence where he was like, he had the stick of destiny, the big staff, take on those guys on, that was a really cool sequence. I thought he was pretty badass there. And referencing himself as James Bond when they were walking into that party, and then when he took them all out and he had like a little slow motion James Bond moment. I mean, that was a bit cheesy. I didn't really like that as much, but it was cool, and it's kind of, I think that was also how Gunn was seeing himself in that moment, which I liked. And the fact that Gwen's kind of been an outcast most of her life, because of the role she's kind of been given by life as like this super powered electric woman, versus Gunn's kind of been he's had this role of the muscle being forced on him, even though there's a lot more to him than that. So I really like that pairing of characters and that they went off to do this. And it came from an interesting organic reason that Gwen couldn't get Angel involved in this mission unless she would have done, because of the scanner. It would have picked up that Angel was dead. So that's why she chose Gunn. I really liked that. It was a cool idea as to why it needed to be Gunn in this episode. Obviously, it could have been Wesley and stuff, but there would have been a pre-established, I think, more connection with Gwen and Gunn, because obviously Gwen accidentally killed him before. So I thought that was really well set up and a good payoff from episodes past that didn't necessarily need to have a payoff, but I think it worked effectively anyway. And yeah, it really showcased how smart Gunn can be, what a good fighter Gunn is. Kind of makes me sad that he can thrive this much not as part of the group, because he's kind of relegated back a bit, which makes me sad. And it just shows what a great character Gunn is, and it's a shame that not everything he doesn't always get that justice. But I feel like a lot of characters kind of fall into that effect in basically any ensemble show. There's always going to be a character, I think, that's more so in the background. And I think Fred's kind of had that for a few episodes as well this season. Gunn certainly had it a lot. And yeah, it was cool to kind of see an episode do Gunn justice, and the way they kind of connected that character with Gwen, I thought worked really well. Like, I liked Gunn and Fred together, but honestly, I think Gunn and Gwen was better, just in one episode, which is kind of shocking to me. I love how that kind of connection came about, and Gunn is emotionally mature enough to kind of understand what Gwen is kind of feeling and what she's going through and those problems that she's dealing with in herself. But he's also not saying, I know exactly what you're going through because I have exactly the same issue because of this and this and this. He's just, he's kind of empathizing with her, which is an interesting kind of thing with Lorne's story in this episode about trying to get his empathic, I don't know the word, empathic powers back. I think that's right. So there's an interesting kind of contrast going on with that. And I think because obviously Gunn, I think, has experienced a lot of like racism and marginalization in his life. So I think he treated Gwen, in terms of her issues and problems that she was dealing with, the same way he'd want people to treat him. I empathize with you or sympathize with you, and everything that you have to go through, and the fact that, people can say horrible things about you just because of the colour of your skin. But I can't, while I can accept that and appreciate that and understand that, I can't fully, get to grips with that and fully understand it because I'm not a black man. So to see Gunn treat people, I think, the way he'd want to be treated just shows what a great guy he is. And I loved that. I loved that they could showcase it. And how delicate he was with Gwen at the end as well. And all the twists and turns with that. We've seen Gwen in the past kind of own her powers and, use them to her advantage and be very confident with them. But I like that this episode kind of explored more so the fact that this still kind of troubles her, that she's never been able to touch anyone without electrocuting them. She's never been able to have sex with anyone. That kind of intimate moment. And I'm glad it wasn't just like, oh yeah, it's a permanent fix. Hooray, I'm normal. I like that she was kind of saying, I know I'll never be normal. This could be a temporary thing. We don't know how long this device is going to last. But I don't think she'd want to like completely get rid of her powers forever. I don't think that's what they were going for. I think that would have been disappointing if they had gone down that route. But she just wants that intimacy with someone, and I think that's a completely understandable thing. And I really like that she was, she sorted this out for herself. It was her choice to kind of do this. She was willing to die to get this thing, just so she could hold someone's hand. And I thought that was also a very lovely story and an interesting parallel when Wesley was talking to Fred, and he was saying, when they were talking about him and Lila, he was like, it's not, it isn't just about holding hands. It's not what it is, all it is. And you then get everything with Gwen. She was just longing to touch someone and hold someone's hand and be intimate with someone. So that was a really nice moment. I like that there was a spark between her and Gunn in the end. And yeah, I thought it was a really sweet couple, actually. And I don't know if they'll explore that anymore or if it's like a one-off thing. But I really thought those characters gelled brilliantly in this one. I don't think it would have worked if we hadn't seen Gwen before. There's like a one-off person just like, oh, I need you for this mission. I don't think it would have worked as well, but we've gotten to know Gwen over a couple of episodes at this point. So I think that also did make it work. So we kind of seen her powers, really understand them, you know, see her a bit more. And then this episode kind of added an extra layer to her that I really liked. And complimented Gunn. I think they really complemented each other quite well. You know, Gwen sometimes just lashes out, like when, you know, she lost control of her powers, electrocuted those guys. But Gunn could be smart about things. He doesn't just go in all guns blazing. All guns blazing. I didn't mean to do that. But he can be quite smart and methodical about things. But when it comes down to it, he can also be very capable physically. As I assume Gwen found out at the end. Hey! But yeah, I thought that was really well done, how those characters kind of interacted and paralleled with some other storylines going on in this episode. So very cohesive in that sense, and it was so well done. I don't mind that it wasn't like, okay, you know, this is the apocalypse, this is the end of the world, and we're doing like this heist thing. I think because of how it went about with the characters and how it influenced and explored them, I think it really worked. You know, it wasn't about, you know, saving the girl. It wasn't really about the heist and everything with that going on, you know, that evil guy and his henchmen goons. It wasn't really about that. It was more so about what Gunn is capable of, and getting back to fighting the good fight, just doing some good after such a heavy season and a complicated season and a soap opera season. So I really like that they directly addressed that. And it's kind of like, yeah, Gunn was finding his roots again and he could really shine. And it does make me sad that he had to be away from the group to do that. It's kind of sad, really. So yeah, I loved everything with Gwen and Gunn's story. I thought it worked really well. You know, the moment where she puts the device on and everything and he can actually touch her. And, that was actually a really kind of sweet moment. I think they really sold the intimacy and the connection between those two characters. I think they both kind of awakened something in each other through that whole experience that they went through. Even if, you know, what Gunn signed up for didn't end up being what the actual heist was about. I did enjoy that twist, you know, because we've seen Gwen always has this kind of other motive at times, but by the end of the episode, she was open about what she wanted, and she wanted to be intimate with someone, and her and Gunn had that kind of moment, and good luck to them, I say, if there's going to be more of that. I really liked that pairing. I thought it really worked. So everything with them was fantastic. You know, doing the James Bond thing, sneaking in, Gunn stealing that gift, and then Gwen immediately stealing it back. Everything with that I thought was really, really fun, and just a good escape from how complicated and crazy and this whole Connor Cordelia situation is. And they keep bringing that up as well. You know, a lot of the characters kind of like, how do we deal with that? And Connor just snapping at them. I feel like they just did that because, I don't know, maybe the actor couldn't be in a lot of this episode because he just appeared. He like disappeared 10 minutes in, so he's like, oh, just get angry at them. But I was like you always hold these these prejudices, and you're so judgy over like Angel and other people. And as soon as it comes back your way, you're like, oh, you don't understand me. You ruined my life. I get it. I get it. He's being manipulated by Cordelia. Like, I don't blame him for that one bit. You know, it's going to happen. He's young. He's been through some shit as well. He hasn't had much of experience of, you know, normal relationships, really. So I do feel for the guy. But I just think he's smarter than, you know, being such a hypocrite about that kind of thing. I just get the sense that he's smarter than that, and that's why it's frustrating. I'm not holding it against him per se, it's just frustrating to watch. Especially because they showed that he is intelligent and emotionally intelligent, and he is switched on about this kind of thing, because he was even questioning Cordelia at the start, being like, you know, Willow wasn't actually doing what you said she was going to do, you know, you were wrong about all that. But again, she kind of manipulated the situation, because whatever Cordelia is now is good at that, unfortunately. And the fact that she's pregnant with Connor's kid, you know, he has to be on her side. So it's the sign that he is switched on. He is kind of intelligent in that sense. But just to have more conflict, they don't tend to showcase that Connor is actually a smart person. And it's just, it's frustrating. So yes, that was a thing. I liked Wesley and Fred's kind of conversation about losing Lila. The fact that Angel now has his memories back, so he knew Angelus didn't kill Lila. I'd completely forgotten about that fact. So that's a really cool way of introducing that kind of plot thread throughout the episode. I don't know if Angel, as soon as he got his memories back, he was like, okay, I'm kind of suspicious of Cordelia now, and he set this whole thing up. I don't know if when Lorne went off to like talk to all his contacts, maybe then they fixed his problems with his empathic powers, and then they just faked the thing to trap Cordelia, or if they really did translate what Angel had written down, so they kind of knew they had to stage it. I don't quite know exactly when all that plan came together, but in my head I can kind of piece together like, okay, this happened then, so you don't need it spelled out for you. But I love that kind of ending twists, and that Cordelia got caught out red-handed, so I'm really excited to see where that's going to go. And they finally know that she's dodgy, so I feel like stuff can actually start happening and we can start wrapping this shit up, because I do not need that storyline in my life. And it was pushing out of her belly, and what the hell is that thing going to be? I feel like that's going to be like the big thing to stop at the end of the season, like this demon childy thing, and we'll see what happens with it. I'd rather they shift to making like that the villain or something, rather than it be Cordelia. I just want the proper Cordelia back at this point. I'm like apparently this all-powerful master and everything, but every single thing she's tried has gone to shit. She's failed at every single fucking turn. The only thing she's done successfully right now is keep Connor on a leash and manipulate him. All of her other plans have been shit. So Cordelia, I miss you. But yeah, that whole thing's just a mess. You know, at this point, all you can do is polish the turd. It's still going to be a turd. But yeah, I'm glad that wasn't like the big focus of the episodes. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because normally I'd be like, why are you not focusing on the main plot going on at this point in the season when there's only like a third of the season left? Why are you having this like one-off plot line? But because Gunn's been in the background for so long, it was nice to have that episode. And this, just because of the nature of the main plot line this season, it was a nice refreshing break to not focus on that quite as much. We still got a decent amount, but yeah, I did enjoy that. And yeah, Wesley talking about his relationship with Lila and the parallels to what Gwen was kind of wanting for herself. I think that kind of shows... It's interesting, actually, because Wesley was talking about, you know, being isolated and lonely, and that's kind of how he has in his own mind understood Cordelia and Connor. Obviously he doesn't know that, well, maybe he didn't know at the time that Cordelia wasn't really Cordelia, or she's dodgy or whatever, but he's also comparing that to himself and Lila, which I thought was an interesting parallel. So he kind of understood them through those isolations, and yet Fred was kind of had a more like, I just can't understand how that happened. Coming off the fact that she's just broken up with Gunn as well is also very interesting, that she can't quite understand how those two people connected emotionally like that. But we also got a really interesting story with Gunn and Gwen connecting like that. Wesley was talking about his connection with Lila like that. So all that kind of thing. The fact that Wesley could relate to Connor and Cordelia's situation through his isolation from, you know, the events of season 3, and then he found Lila and everything, given that Fred was isolated for 5 years in Pylia. I thought how all that kind of was explored was really interesting. And while Fred experienced being alone for 5 years and stuff, when it came to maybe love, she still has a more traditional view of things, and it's like, okay, this is how it's going to be, like kind of like the storybook fantasy, I guess. So it's interesting that I think maybe there was a pang of jealousy there when Wesley was talking about Lila with Fred, and we already know that Wesley has feelings for Fred as well. So it's interesting that those two could be drawn together romantically, even though they have seemingly very different ideas of exactly how love can come about. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing as well. And yeah, Angel kind of not wanting to deal with the whole Cordelia and Connor thing. I feel like we should have at least gotten a scene with Angel and Connor in this one, like one-to-one, just talking it through, but I imagine we'll get that at some point. Again, I don't mind that we didn't focus that much on the whole Cordelia plot this season in this one. but still, I liked him still trying to be a bit helpful now that he's back. And it was cool to focus on why Lorne's powers may or may not be working. Still not sure if that's fixed or if it was just all part of this ruse in this particular episode, because he has kind of struggled to reach Cordelia up to now. I don't know if that's just because she's this all-powerful being and that's why he can't get a read on her, and then anyone else he'd still be fine. I don't know if that's why it is, or if there is a genuine problem with Lorne, but it would be cool to explore that, because then it would give Lorne some screen time, which I don't think he has had that much this season, especially since he's in the credits now. I'm like, yes. So yeah, regardless, Lorne has some great moments, and I love the way they staged the ending. It was a very Lorne ending. Has Cordelia been a bad girl? And then the 8-ball said definitely. Fantastic. I really liked that ending. And just to see her finally get caught out, everyone's there. What the hell's going to happen next? I don't know, but I'm goddamn excited about it, because I think it means progress and some sort of conclusion. I don't know what Connor's reaction is going to be. He already had his doubts about Cordelia's intentions in this episode, so hopefully he'll come to his senses or whatever. But also, Cordelia's been so good at manipulating him this season. I'm not sure it's going to be that easy, especially because it's not like it's the finale next week or anything. So I guess we'll see. But regardless, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was great. Very meta in the fact that it was a nice break. And Gunn enjoyed the nice break from the soap opera drama, which I certainly did as well for this episode. It felt like a breath of fresh air. Loved having Gwen back. The story with her and Gunn I thought was very well done, and how all these different storylines going on still kind of were related with like certain themes of like, your place in the group, how you view love, how you view intimacy, everything with that I thought was very well done. And yeah, just really good stuff. And that ending as well was also kind of a punch to the air moment, and I'm very excited to see where they take that next, now that everyone knows Cordelia just ain't it right now. She ain't Cordelia, and yeah, just, oh boy, what is that baby going to be like? I can't even begin to imagine the monstrosity that Cordelia is going to give birth to, but I'm so sure we'll find out fairly soon. But yeah, fantastic episode, really enjoyed this one. My next reaction, I think finishing off this cycle, will be to the next episode of Angel, so that'll be episode 17. And yes, how crazy things going to get, I don't know, but I really, really enjoyed this episode. Great to kind of get away from everything. So yeah, good stuff. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.